Did you know that a simple itch in a specific spot could be your body's earliest warning sign of cancer? For most people, an itch is just an itch, dry skin. An allergy may be irritation from clothing. But for adults over 60, certain kinds of itching, especially when they appear in very specific areas, could mean something far more serious is happening beneath the surface. In this video, we're going to explore 5 exact spots on your body where persistent itching has been linked to early signs of serious conditions, including lymphoma, pancreatic cancer, breast cancer, and more. These aren't random symptoms. They're subtle, consistent patterns that doctors have seen again and again, often months before any major symptoms show up. But we're not just pointing to places on a diagram. We'll walk you through why these areas itch, how cancer creates this internal irritation, and, most importantly, how to know when it's more than just dry skin. You'll learn how to tell the difference, what questions to ask your doctor, and what steps to take if any of these signs sound familiar to you or someone you care about. And let's be clear, this isn't about fear, it's about awareness, because your body whispers before it screams. And the sooner you listen, the better your chances of catching something early, when it's still treatable, manageable, and beatable. So stay with us. This is the kind of information that could make all the difference. Let's begin. Sign number 1, persistent itching on the lower legs. Now, at first glance, it may seem harmless. Maybe it's just dry skin, or maybe your body wash isn't agreeing with you anymore. But here's where things get serious. If you're over 60, and you've been dealing with an itch on your shins or calves that won't quit, even when there's no rash, no redness, no flaking, and no new product to blame, that itch could be your body waving a red flag. Doctors have seen this symptom time and again in patients diagnosed with blood-related cancers, especially lymphoma. And what makes it so easy to miss is that it doesn't look like a problem. The skin can appear perfectly normal, but the itch is relentless, deep, distracting, and strangely worse at night. And the usual lotions, they barely help if at all. So what's really going on? Lymphomas affect the lymphatic system, your body's immune and waste removal highway. As these abnormal cells begin to grow, they release inflammatory chemicals into the bloodstream. These chemicals can irritate nerve endings, especially in the lower limbs, creating a sensation that feels like it's crawling under your skin. But here's the catch. It's not coming from outside your body. It's coming from within. I remember hearing about a man named Walter, 75. He shared his story at a local health forum. For 6 months, he'd been scratching his legs, every night same spots. No rash, no new soap, nothing that made sense. His doctor thought it was dermatitis or maybe just winter dryness. But after routine blood work revealed unusual white cell counts, and imaging picked up swollen lymph nodes in his abdomen, the truth came out. It was early-stage lymphoma, and Walter said something I'll never forget. "I didn't feel sick. I just couldn't stop scratching." And he's not alone. This kind of story happens more often than we realize. So what can you look for? If the itch is chronic, focused, and hasn't improved with moisturizers or lifestyle changes, and especially if it's accompanied by vague symptoms like tiredness, night sweats, or weight loss, it's time to speak up. The absence of a visible problem doesn't mean the issue isn't real. In fact, it's often these invisible symptoms that mean the most. Remember, aging skin may itch from time to time, but when your body is quietly trying to tell you something, the message often repeats. If your legs are whispering to you night after night, don't wait for a shout. Get it checked out. A simple conversation with your doctor could make all the difference. Sign number 2. An itch right between the shoulder blades or on the upper back that just won't quit. Now, most people chalk this up to something minor. Maybe your shirt tag is rubbing. Maybe you slept funny or your skin's just dry. But for older adults, especially those over 60, this particular type of itch might not be coming from your skin at all. In fact, it could be your body's way of pointing toward a much deeper issue, specifically your pancreas. It might seem strange that a problem in the pancreas, buried deep in the abdomen, could show up as an itch on your upper back. But here's the science. When tumors begin to grow in the pancreas, they can block the bile ducts, the narrow tubes that carry bile from your liver to your intestines. When these ducts get clogged, bile salts build up in the bloodstream. And those bile salts, they don't just sit there. They start to irritate nerves, especially the ones located in areas with dense nerve endings, like your back. And that's where it starts. A strange, unrelenting itch, like it's beneath the skin, not on top. It doesn't respond to lotion. It's not from sweat or pressure. It's internal, persistent, and most people don't connect it to something serious until much later. I remember hearing about a woman named Carla. She was 72, healthy, active, and the only thing bothering her was this strange itch between her shoulder blades. It kept waking her up at night. She tried creams, antihistamines, even got a new mattress. Nothing worked. It felt like it was coming from the inside out. Out of frustration, she brought it up to her doctor during a routine checkup, not thinking much of it. Her blood work came back with slightly elevated liver enzymes. A few scans later, they discovered a small tumor pressing against her bile duct, early pancreatic cancer. That itch, it was her only symptom. No abdominal pain, no yellowing of the eyes, no digestive issues. Just a quiet signal that something wasn't right. Here's why this matters. The upper back is a place we often ignore. We blame backpacks, bras, bad posture. But if you've had a focused itch in the same spot, especially if it's accompanied by fatigue, dark urine, or pale-colored stools, it's time to ask some deeper questions. Don't brush it off. The body doesn't always shout when something's wrong. Sometimes it whispers, and if we listen closely enough, we can act before it's too late. Sign number 3, an itchy scalp without visible flakes or dandruff. At first glance, it sounds harmless, right? A little scalp itch is something nearly everyone deals with from time to time. Dry hair, aging skin, maybe a shampoo that didn't quite agree with you. But when that itch becomes relentless, especially when there's no redness, no visible flaking, and none of your usual remedies seem to work, it might be time to dig a little deeper. Because for some older adults, this seemingly minor irritation can actually be an early sign of something far more serious. We're talking about hidden blood cancers like leukemia, or even skin cancer developing on the scalp itself. Here's what makes this itch different. It often comes with a strange tingling or crawling sensation, almost like ants under the skin. It moves around, doesn't stay fixed in one spot, and no matter how many shampoos, scalp oils, or creams you try, it just doesn't go away. That's because the root of the issue may not be skin deep. When cancers like leukemia begin to affect the immune system, they can disrupt how the body handles inflammation. This can trigger nerve irritation in places we don't expect, like the scalp. Think of it as a false alarm going off in your nervous system, warning you that something's off beneath the surface. Let me tell you about someone named Henry. He was 73 and still fairly active. One day, his scalp started itching like crazy every afternoon. No dandruff, no rash, just an intense, burning itch that seemed to come out of nowhere. At first, he blamed his hat. Then he changed hair products. But nothing worked. It wasn't until he went to the doctor for unrelated fatigue that routine blood tests revealed something unexpected. His white blood cell count was way too high. A few more tests later, and Henry was diagnosed with early-stage chronic lymphocytic leukemia. And the scalp itch, that was his body's first warning sign. Now, leukemia isn't the only concern. Skin cancers on the scalp, especially in areas where hair is thinning, can start off looking like nothing more than a dry patch or tiny bump. But if it keeps itching, and I mean really itching, not just a little dry skin here and there, and you've tried everything to soothe it with no luck, it's worth getting checked. Even if you can't see the area yourself, ask a loved one, a caregiver, or even your hairstylist to take a closer look. Because here's the truth. The scalp is one of the easiest places for serious issues to hide. We can't see it well and we don't think about it often. But if you've had an itch that's lasted more than 2 or 3 weeks, doesn't improve with any treatment, and especially if you've also been feeling run down, bruising easily, or just off, don't ignore it. Sometimes the body doesn't shout, it whispers. And in the case of your scalp, that whisper might be one of the earliest clues your body is asking you to listen. Sign number 4, a persistent itch on the chest or breast area. This might seem minor at first, an itch under your shirt, around the nipple, or just beneath the breast. Most people chalk it up to a tight bra, heat, or even the natural thinning of skin that comes with age. But here's something most people don't know. An itch in this exact area, especially one that doesn't go away or keeps returning to the same spot, can be one of the earliest signs of a hidden issue, something as serious as inflammatory breast cancer or other tumors growing close to the surface of the chest wall. This kind of itch is different from the random irritations we all experience. It tends to stay localized, same area, same sensation, day after day. Sometimes the skin looks a bit different, slightly red, thickened, or even warm to the touch. Other times there's nothing visible at all. Just that strange, nagging itch that refuses to be soothed by lotions or changes in laundry detergent. Let me share a story. Ruth, age 69, told me about an odd sensation near her right breast that lasted for weeks. She thought it might be a bra issue, then tried going without one. Still no relief. There was no lump, no pain, just a stubborn itch she couldn't explain. Eventually, she mentioned it to her doctor, almost as an afterthought. The doctor noticed some dimpling in the skin, a small change Ruth hadn't even seen, and ordered further tests. It turned out she had an early but aggressive form of inflammatory breast cancer, developing near the surface without forming a typical lump. That's the danger of this condition. It doesn't follow the usual playbook. There may be no pain, no obvious mass, just a silent irritant. That's why listening to your body, especially when something persists without clear cause, is essential. And this warning isn't just for women. Men can develop breast cancer too. While it's rarer, it's also more likely to go undiagnosed until later stages. If you're a man and notice persistent itching near the nipple, a small patch of thickened skin, or a strange tenderness under the chest muscle, don't dismiss it. Your body is trying to tell you something. There's also a lesser-known connection here. Persistent itching in the chest area may sometimes be caused not by breast tissue, but by enlarged lymph nodes near the armpit or collarbone. These can be signs of lymphoma or another nearby malignancy, and often present with subtle symptoms, an itch, a sense of fullness or warmth in the area. Here's the bottom line. Our skin has no voice, but it knows how to signal us. An itch in this area that doesn't go away with moisturizer, doesn't shift locations, and keeps quietly calling your attention, needs to be taken seriously. Especially if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, when your body's early warnings often show up in quiet, persistent ways rather than dramatic symptoms. So if this sounds like something you or a loved one is dealing with, don't hesitate. Ask your doctor. Mention the pattern. Awareness is the first and most powerful step toward early detection. And if this information has helped you, please comment number 4 below so I know you're still with us. Your presence, your curiosity, it matters deeply. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a message that might help protect your health or someone you care about. Sign number 5, persistent itching in the anal or genital area. Let's be honest, this is not the kind of thing people like to talk about, especially as we get older. It's uncomfortable, private, and often brushed off as something too minor or too awkward to mention. But here's what many don't realize. Chronic, unexplained itching in this area can sometimes be one of the first red flags of something much more serious, including anal, vulvar, or even penile cancer. Now, that doesn't mean every itch is a crisis. Often, it's just dry skin, irritation from hygiene products, or a side effect of aging. But the real warning signs come when that itch refuses to go away, when it lingers for weeks or months, returns again and again, and doesn't improve with creams, cleansing, or lifestyle changes. That's when it's time to pay closer attention. There's a story I'll never forget. Eugene, age 76, who thought he was just dealing with hemorrhoids. He tried everything: ointments, sitz baths, dietary changes. Some days it felt better, but it always came back. Eventually, his doctor referred him to a specialist who found a lesion inside the anal canal. It was a small tumor, early stage, but dangerous if left unchecked. His only symptom: that relentless itch. And this isn't just about men. For women, especially those over 60, recurring itching in the vulvar area can sometimes signal vulvar cancer, an often overlooked condition because its symptoms are so subtle. No visible lump, just a sensation. Maybe a patch of rough skin, maybe a change in color or sensitivity. Many women assume it's menopause, dryness, or irritation from clothing. But when the itching is persistent, when it worsens at night or seems oddly focused on one spot, it needs a professional evaluation. What makes this sign so important is how easily it hides in plain sight. This region of the body is packed with nerve endings. It's responsive to even the slightest shifts in temperature, moisture, and inflammation. So when the skin starts signaling distress, when something internal is beginning to change, an itch is often the first way it lets you know. And yet, because of embarrassment or fear of overreacting, most people stay silent. But silence helps no one. Your comfort matters. Your intuition matters. If something feels off, even if it seems small, speak up. Because here's the truth. The path to early detection doesn't always begin with high-tech machines or dramatic symptoms. Sometimes, it begins with noticing something as simple as an itch that won't go away, and choosing to take it seriously. So if you or someone you care about has been quietly dealing with this kind of symptom, don't wait. Bring it up, talk to your doctor, let them take a look. It might feel awkward, but it could make all the difference. As we wrap up, there's one powerful reminder I want to leave you with. Your body is always speaking to you, not with loud alarms, but often in quiet, consistent whispers. A nagging itch, a restless sensation, a change that doesn't go away. These are not inconveniences to be ignored, they're messages. Messages that say, pay attention. The 5 areas we explored today, the lower legs, upper back, scalp, chest, and the genital region, are not random. They are known by doctors and researchers as early alert zones. Places where serious conditions, including certain cancers, can first reveal themselves, not through pain or visible signs, but through something as seemingly harmless as an itch. And for those of us in our 60s, 70s, or beyond, this kind of awareness is more than helpful, it's life-saving. Because the earlier we catch something, the more options we have. This isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. It's about honoring your body and trusting your instincts when something feels off. So if any part of this video resonated with you, if you've been noticing one of these signs, don't second-guess yourself. Bring it up. Talk to your doctor. Get it checked. There is strength in speaking up, even when it feels small. And now, we'd love to hear from you. What stood out most today? Was there something you hadn't considered before? Drop a comment below and let us know how you'll use this information in your life. Your voice matters here. If you found this helpful, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share this with someone you care about. Your support means the world and helps us continue creating content that keeps our community healthy, informed, and empowered. Thanks again for being with us. And until next time, take care of your body, and it will take care of you.